Live from the Student Union on campus, this is Gold Mine Live. Your weekly all-access pass inside Charlotte Athletics is brought to you by Ortho Carolina, proud to present the 2017 Charlotte 49ers football season. Bojangles, it's bow time. Your Carolina Ford dealers. Go to yourfordchoice.com and enter the Adventure Ready giveaway to win a 2017 Escape or Fusion from your Carolina Ford dealers. Harris Teeter, where 49ers fans shop for groceries. University Eye Associates. And by Wells Fargo. Charlotte 49er fans, show your pride with a customized Wells Fargo debit card. Stop by your nearest Wells Fargo or visit Wells Fargo Card Design Studio online to learn more. Now, here's your host, the voice of the 49ers, Matt Swerad.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Gold Mine Live here for the Student Union back in Norms this week with Coach Brad Lambert and Kevin Donnelly. We'll be joined later on by defensive lineman Tommy Dyer, and graduate assistant coach Brad Quinn is going to be a guest here today as well as we talk about what's going on with Niner football coming up this week. A road trip to Miami, Florida to take on Florida International, FIU. First Conference USA game of the season. Coach, good to see you on this Monday. Hope you're doing well today.
Doing well. Glad to be here.
I guess, before we get started going too deep into what happened last week and moving forward this week, you have made a couple of changes. I'll let you address that going forward as you changed your offensive coordinator today.
Yeah, we just felt like we needed to make a change offensively and, give a spark to the offense. So Coach Atkins, he'll take over the play calling duties and be our offensive coordinator. Coach Mullen's going to just focus on the quarterbacks, be our quarterback coach, and we're going to move forward in that direction. Just felt like we needed to make a change over there and infuse that offense a little bit, see if we can get them going a little bit more. And, Coach Mullen's been, a great offensive coordinator here. You think back over the years and, all the games that we put up, whether it's down at Citadel or at Coastal Carolina against, good teams with limited rosters and putting up 500 yards of offense. So, he's a really, really good football coach and, a good man. And we're fortunate that he's here. But just at this time, I just feel like, we need to make a change on offense and see if we can get going a little bit more.
And also it gives him a chance to work just solely with the quarterbacks and try to get that group going a little bit too.
Yeah, no question. It'll take a lot off his plate where he can just, be the quarterback coach. We'll move him to the box where he can see things and help the quarterback from a vision standpoint when he gets in between series. So, I think it'll be good for us as we move forward.
As you promote Coach Atkins, he brings a wealth of experience and knowledge. So I know you got to feel pretty good about putting it in his hands.
Yeah, no question. Coach Ad's been at all levels of ball. He's been the SEC to the NFL to, Troy, which is our level. So, he's a heck of a football coach. He's been really good with our offensive line since he's gotten here. And he's called plays before, so he's been in this situation before at a couple different schools. So talked to him a long time yesterday about it, and he's all on board and he's fired up, and he and Jeff are all on the same page. So hopefully we can move forward. Now we're playing another tough opponent this week. FIU's a team that senior Layden on defense. I think probably one of the better linebacker cores will play. Got all conference USA guy in Went and Trayvon, 52, the outside backer, man, he's a phenomenal player. So this will be a tough challenge for us again this week. But, it's something that I think moving forward, this will help us. And we lost a lot of guys off last year's team. We're trying to build a program here. And it's just a move that I think will help us stay positive with our guys and give our guys an opportunity to go win games down the stretch. We start I told our team this morning, our 4 non-conference games are over. Our next 4 is our focus. We got 2 at home, 2 on the road, and playing our conference schedule now, and kind of keep it in 3-4 games seasons. And as we move forward, we need to have the best week of preparation we've had all year, and it needs to be this week and start today.
As you looked back and looked at the film the other day on Saturday, what did you see?
Well, I saw some good things in there, especially, on the defensive side. I didn't like the drive right before the half, but I thought, we held it right at 3 or under 3 yards per rush. So I thought our guys up front were playing pretty good. They got to play out of us, right before the half. I thought it was a big drive. We had them 3rd and 13 and didn't get off the field right there. And really after the half, we really played really good on third down the second half. So there's some positives in there. We had opportunities offensively. We drove down there right before the half, could have made it 14-7. We throw the pick in the end zone. Had a guy fall down and couldn't occupy the safety, and had what we wanted. We were missing a piece in there. Guy fell down. So, if we score right there, if you get 7 or 3, gives you a little momentum going into half. But we were 0 for 7 on third down, in the first half offensively, and came back out and did a little bit better in the second half, and we just couldn't punch it in. We couldn't get any points. We missed a couple field goals. They were long. One of them was 53, and the other one was 44, 45, but we got to punch those through. We got to try to find a way to get points on the board just to get momentum going in our direction. And so there were some positive things in there. Benny ran the ball decent in the second half. We got to, get him out of the game a little bit, let Aaron get in there and play some. But we didn't play many reps in the first half, so I felt like Benny was okay at the half. But we just got to find a way to run the ball and keep the thing moving, make first downs, and get Hassan started.
One thing we noticed, there was not a lot of stoppage in play, and the defense on the field quite a bit in the first half.
Yeah, it was. We didn't play as well on third down in the first half as I wanted. I think they were 7 for 12 on third down in the first half, and we'd get stops, and then, we kept them relatively clean until right before the half, that drive right before the half. Where we missed a tackle. Ben missed a tackle on the sideline over there, and the guy got in the end zone. We're trying to hold him. It's a 7-0 game right then, and can you keep it 10-7 or 10-zip or 7-zip going into half? That was really frustrating for me. Then the offense went right back down the field and had it in the red zone, and I thought we were going to punch one in there. It was about a 40-second drive, I think. So there was some good things in there. Warpay played well. I thought he had another good game. He's playing at a high level for us.
Quattlebaum played very well.
Yeah, Mark had his best game since he's been here, felt like, had some catches. So we got to continue that group progressing and getting better and getting open. That's one of the emphasis we had today with our guys and when they continue to be this week, is we got to get open on the outside as well. You got to get open and run the ball and put Hassan in the right spot so he can make some plays. But that drive right before the half made some good throws. He hit the vertical to Mark, and he hit the corner route to, Warpay in there. So there were some good things in there that we can build on and continue to get better as we progress this thing.
I want to credit Georgia State. So you look at their post game, they played almost a clean game. They did everything they wanted to do. They came in. Their quarterback Manning had not thrown a touchdown, 3 picks. Mm-hmm. He was pretty efficient. Didn't force too many balls, and just one penalty.
Yeah, no question. There weren't a lot of penalties in the game. We had 6, and I think 3 of them were on the last drive or 2. We got a couple holding penalties down there. We jumped off sides once or twice, but it was a relatively clean game. I thought they could have thrown a couple more flags on them, but, it's just stuff they don't see. So that's just part of it. But I thought it was a pretty clean game, all the way around from an official standpoint. I thought they handled the game pretty good, and I didn't have any complaints at all. In Georgia State, what I thought going in the game, just like I told our team last Monday, they have good players, and their defensive front is good. We knew it going in. And we knew we were going to have to try to block them. I thought we would move the ball a little bit better against them than what we did. But, they have good players as well. And so, that's our responsibility to try to get that ball moving and get it in the end zone, score some points.
You mentioned some guys that, played pretty well for Georgia State. And, of course, their quarterback played a clean game. But they really had another guy step up big for them because the Taz Bateman, their starting running back, goes out first quarter sometime, and the backup comes in and does a really nice job.
Yeah, he did. He ran the ball hard. I was really worried about Taz coming into the game. He's, rushed for 100 against Penn State, and I don't know what the other guy had. I think it was right around 80, 90 yards, something like that. But he ran hard. He really did. And they caught some passes on us there in critical situations that I thought we should have defended better. And that would have got us off the field a couple of times. But in the second half, we got off the field. Even the field goal block, it's 14-zip, and we blocked the field goal, and you school your kids up all the time once that block goes. And actually, I think it hit a helmet. One of their guys, he kicked it really low, and you could see it when the ball went so high in the air. I could just see the wheels turning in Jeff's head, like, I'm going to catch this on the move, and I'm going to get a lot of yards. Because normally you would just stay away from the ball, but because the way it happened and the ball went so high, it's just kind of a natural reaction for Jeff and he was pretty clean. If he catches it clean, he's going to run for a while. He muffed it, and so therefore we got to get on the ball, and we didn't get the ball. They did, and resulted in a touchdown.
Yeah, in that situation, it's so close to the goal line, just a chip shot field goal, and so that's kind of a perfect storm where you get all these things that happen all at the same time. And for a young kid like Jeff Gemmel, you like you said, you see those wheels spinning, and it's just something that you just learn from experience.
Yeah, and I think if the ball's not that high, he gets away from it. But it was in his mind relatively easy catch. The ball was so high, and it was coming right to him, and I think his eyes got big looking at all the grass in front of him, and he took his eye off the ball, and that's why he muffed it. But you don't want your guys to touch that ball and just stay away from it and make the call and everybody get away from it. But in the heat of the moment, guys try to make a play, and I think he just felt like I can really make a positive play for the Niners right here, and that's what went through his mind.
Well, Coach, we'll take our first break here in the show. We'll come back. We've got the Bow Time Challenge. And once again, I think it's Sweet Tea. It was kind of a draw last week. I think the tape said that Kevin might have won.
Right, but I need to step my game up.
Yeah, no question.
That's coming up next. We're back with more here from Norms and the Student Union. Gold Mine Live on the Charlotte IMG Sports Network.
Okay, it's time to belly up to the bar because it's the last call to save big on 2017 Ford F-Series. Cash in on the truck that hauls the most and has more efficiency at the pump with an EcoBoost engine and a high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy body. Time to get in on America's best-selling trucks 40 years running. Because you snooze, you lose, pal.
Get $10,837 total savings on a 2017 F-150, plus first responders get an additional $1,000 at your Carolina Ford dealer.
Sophie, his 13th birthday. Gift, we've got you. Guitar, coming tomorrow. Road game today, surprise party tomorrow. Change of plans. Game tomorrow.
No, birthday tomorrow.
Hotel, hotel.
Guitar, reroute.
Birthdays are on birthdays.
Party, relocate. UPS My Choice makes rerouting packages easy.
Wow.
How we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Sophie.
Well, welcome back here to Norms on campus, the Student Union. Gold Mine Live as we continue with Coach Lambert and Kevin Donnelly. Matt Swarad with you. And time now for the Bow Time Challenge. And Kevin is going to be up again with Sweet Tea this week. And Bobby is going to be his challenger. And
yeah, Bobby's got his own section today. I like it.
He does. Brandon has the clock, 30 seconds to the clock. Brandon, you can start it when you're ready. And there is a good group here for Bobby chanting his name. It was a very close one last week, and Kevin technically lost last week, but the videotape may have proven that he snuck it in there at the wire. And they're off. 30 seconds on the clock. And Bobby's not a big guy.
Oh, no, it's leaking. He's spilling.
Oh, Bobby did it. Bobby was about a third of the size of Kevin Donnelly. Okay.
I think people are getting ready for him this year. I think they're actually practicing.
They're practicing. You're right.
Yeah, I think so. They're bringing their crowd.
Bunch of ringers coming in.
Yeah. Which I think they're stacking the deck on you, Coach.
Good job, Bobby. That was fantastic, Kev. What do you think? Let's put your mic on there.
Yeah, there comes a time when maybe you just need to walk away from the game. It's been a tough road for me these last few weeks. It just doesn't go down as smooth as it used to. I don't know what it is. Frankly, I want it warmer. Like, that is ice cold beverage.
Yeah.
But I can't be choosy. The rules are what they are. A lot of spillage today. I don't know what's going on.
On both sides.
Yeah, a little bit on both sides.
He was too. A lot of it went to the floor. Bobby was dumping a lot out.
All right. Good job, Bobby. I see you back there. Strong challenger. Yeah. Come back next week. We'll do it again. Rubber match.
That's 3 close ones in a row. This one's going to go to Bobby, though, clear. And no look at the videotapes. We look forward now as we move back to Niner football and get ready for a road trip down to Miami. And it's going to be an emotional game for FIU because it's their first game at home since Hurricane Irma. They were forced to leave to go to Birmingham to play Alcorn State. They got their first win for Coach Davis over there. Then last week went to Rice and beat a conference opponent on the road in a city that also saw the hurricane damage with Hurricane Harvey. So this will be an emotional week for them.
Yeah, no question. The Hurricanes really been wreaking havoc with us this year. Of course, we had it last year going to FAU. You know, so you feel for everybody down there, and it's tough on a football team when that's your home, and you can't get in and out, and families, and just a lot of concerns, you know, just about life in general. And so I'm sure it's been tough on their kids, and it'll be you know, good for them to get back home, play a home game, and be in front of their crowd and on their university. So yeah, it'll be an emotional time for them, and they, you know, they got a good football team. I mean, you know, they're a confident team right now. Went on the road, beat Rice. So, you know, they got a lot of seniors on their team. I think that's the thing that jumps out at you. You know, their quarterback's a senior, their linebacking core is seniors. Got a couple seniors in the secondary. You know, they got a couple seniors at the running back. So it's just, they got an old football team. And I thought before the season, when we went to Conference USA Media Days, I thought, you know, in my mind, I was like, you know what, FIU's a pretty good football team. They got a heck of a coach now, and Coach Davis. I mean, he's just, you know, he's won a lot of football games. He's been doing it for a long time. I never forget when I was at the University of Georgia, and we went to Miami when he was the head coach and talked defense with him and watched him in the spring for a day or two. And so he's been doing it at a high level for a long time. So heck of a recruiter, good football coach. So they're well coached when you watch them on video, and they play extremely hard. They opened the year against a buzzsaw in Central Florida. We know what kind of team they are. They beat Maryland last week. So Central Florida's got a good football team, and you know, that's an in-state game for them. So, but it'll be a tough challenge for us going on the road playing at FIU. But you know, our guys have never let us down from a preparation standpoint, a work standpoint. I don't expect any different this week, and we'll have to be on point this week when we go down there and play.
You mentioned the age on the defensive side. Their quarterback, Alex Magoo's a senior. We faced him at their place 2 years ago. So he's a guy that has a lot of reps under his belt as well. Yeah, no question. Got a senior wideout. You know, their tailback's a senior. Gardner's, we've seen him for a couple years. You know, we've seen a lot of these guys for a couple years. And I think Anthony Went, the linebacker, he's all Conference USA. I thought he was one of the best players we played against. I voted for him all the way, you know, because he's a tackling machine. I mean, he played really well last year. I liked watching him on video. He played well against us. You know, he's a heck of a football player, and you know, so they've got some old guys, and you know, they got a lot of juniors as well. So like in their defensive front, you know, they got 3 juniors up there. So they can wreak havoc with you. They're an athletic football team. So we're going to have to block them and you know, get after them up front, and you know, try to limit big plays. 81's a guy can get behind you. He's a big play guy, so we've got to really do a good job in the secondary. We've got to make some plays back there, and then we've got to really be solid up front from a defensive front standpoint, and not let the run get started, because that's always the key. Is if they can't run the ball on you, then you got a shot.
You know, tell me, Coach Davis down there, you know, coached in the college ranks a long time. And then was in the broadcast booth for a bunch of years. Yeah. Now coming back to the game, does that affect some of the offense that he's running? Is it a little bit kind of old school to it, or is he really a part of that whole faction of, you know, spread, really trying to play fast and get guys in and out? You
know, they're spread. I mean, they want to run the ball, though. I mean, they're gonna have the ability to run the ball. You know, you watch them on video, and they have the ability to run. Their quarterback's experience, he's playing pretty well for them. They've got the RPO stuff just like everybody else. They show you the run, get the ball out to the perimeter, whether it's a screen or a screen or a hitch or a slant, you know, what have you. So they're doing pretty much what everybody else is doing. They use a fullback a little bit more, so that's the old school piece of it. They did get against Alcorn and used the fullback a bunch, and so, you know, you just kind of prepare for all that. But the bottom line is, it's, you know, you got the A gap, you got to handle A gap, you got to have gap discipline on defense, and if you're the 3 technique, you got the B gap, you got to handle the B gap, and you got to make sure you don't get out of your gap and let something split you, and that's usually what happens. You try to, you know, create some inside, you know, blitzes, different things you try to do to create some lost yardage plays, you know, which we did against Georgia State in the second half. We had them behind the chains, and that allowed us to get off the field. So,
you know, on the defensive side, they do run a 4-3, correct?
Yeah.
And you know, I know he's had a lot of experience with that. Has been running that for years. Does that pose different problems when you guys are facing the 3-4 one week? You got several things going on, then the next week it's 4-3.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you might run a few different plays against it, but you know, ultimately they see what they do, we do a lot of. So our offense has seen a bunch of it through August, last spring and August and things like that. So I don't think there don't be anything revolutionary that our guys haven't seen. So they're just pretty good at executing it. They got good players, and that's I think, like I said, the strength of their football team is, that linebacking core is really good. I mean, they're really active. They make a lot of plays. They're hard to get on and get to.
Not a team that has scored a lot of points, and defense really been the key to that team so far this season through 3 games. What have you noticed for their offense? It's been 17 points, 17, and this last week just 13, but they did win with their defense.
Yeah, they've missed some plays down the field. I think that's been the biggest thing. They'll take a shot at you. They had a couple picks down the field against Rice. Guy had it, just kind of underthrew it a little bit here or there. So they're not far off, and they move the ball. And I really like the quarterback. I mean, he's making some good decisions for them. But they'll get behind the chain some, then they won't get off the field. Rice is pretty good up front. I was impressed with them up front. They're pretty active up in their defensive line and linebackers. So they did a nice job against them, and it really controlled the game for Rice. But they missed some big opportunities, I think, that they'd like to had back. And I think if they hit those, then kind of changes the game for them, because they were playing pretty good on defense against Rice. I mean, FIU was like they had it under control defensively.
Well, let's take our second break. Got a special guest coming up when we come back. That's defensive lineman Tommy Doctor. We'll talk to Tommy after this break. This is Goldmine Live on the Charlotte IMG Sports Network.
Okay, it's time to belly up to the bar, because it's the last call to save big on 2017 Ford F-Series. Cash in on the truck that hauls the most and has more efficiency at the pump with an EcoBoost engine and a high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy body. Time to get in on America's best-selling trucks 40 years running, because you snooze, you lose, pal.
Get $10,837 total savings on a 2017 F-150, plus first responders get an additional $1,000 at your Carolina Ford dealer.
Sophie, his 13th birthday. Gift, we've got you. Guitar, coming tomorrow. Road game today, surprise party tomorrow. Change of plans. Game tomorrow.
No, birthday tomorrow.
Hotel, hotel.
Guitar, reroute.
Birthdays are on birthdays.
Party, relocate. UPS My Choice makes rerouting packages easy. How we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Sophie.
Welcome back to Goldmine Live, everybody. The Charlotte 49ers this week going down to Florida, and they will take on FIU. First conference game of the season. We're joined now by Tommy Doctor on the defensive line for the 49ers. And Tommy, thanks for joining us today. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Let's first and foremost, I want to congratulations on getting the scholarship during training camp this year. That's always a special day. What was it like when the coach gathered you and the team together and gave you that scholarship?
It was one of the best days of my life, I have to tell you. He called me in his office right before practice, right after meetings, and he just looked at me and said, "Tell me you've been doing a great job, and I'm going to put you on full scholarship." We hugged it out. I ran downstairs, called my parents, shed a few tears with them on the phone, and can't thank them enough for that. Life-changing.
Unbelievable time, experience, and all that hard work, though, paid off.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, it was. I mean, I came in here, walked down 2 years ago, and grinded every single day, and that's why I tell these guys now, just keep working and good things are going to happen, because I love being here and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Well, and I know, Tommy, we've known each other since you got here, and you really are one of the hardest working guys on the team. And I know that your goal was to get that scholarship and earn your right to be on that field on game day and get some reps out on the field. What was it like to not only get the scholarship, but then almost instantaneously you're a productive player on that defensive line?
I mean, it was definitely a life-changing few months going into camp and then earning that starting role. But I've honestly been having a really good time. Things haven't gone the way we wanted to in the game, but just being out there and grinding, working hard with my boys, it's been fun, and we're going to figure it out and we're going to get some wins.
Well, tell me, you have more of the frame, I'd say, of a prototypical defensive end, but they're really asking you to play on the interior a whole bunch. What's that been for you, and what are some of the challenges that poses?
It's definitely different going from the end to the inside, and it's a big man's world in there. I'm going to be honest with you. Feeling the double team from the guard and the tackle almost every play. But I feel like I've almost used some of my techniques from DN and have been using them on the inside. And I put on about 15 pounds since last year, so that's definitely helped being in there.
I'm sure you're trying to still continue to get some weight on there,
Absolutely.
Especially the season can be a grind, and it's hard to keep that weight up. How you doing that? Is it just tons of eating all the time?
Tons of eating, and then traveling. Team's feeding us all weekend long, so that definitely helps.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, when you're playing inside, you know what I've noticed, maybe what you give up a little bit on size, the quickness seems to be there because you're often beating guys to gaps, you're getting penetration, you're kind of blowing things up. You might not have gotten the tackle, but you're really setting up your teammates. Is that something that you really try and focus on? It's like if I can't be the strongest guy out there, I might as well go out there and wreak havoc.
Exactly, yes, sir. When it comes down to it, Coach always just tells us, you got your gap, just play your gap, and don't do too much. Just do your job, and if I can just do my job and have someone else come make the tackle, then I think that I was successful in the play. I did what I had to do.
Well, I know not only were you happy and you called your parents afterwards, but you're a big football family, right? Your dad, your uncle both played for the Buffalo Bills. You're from Buffalo. What was it like? I'm sure they had to have been overjoyed for you also. They're here supporting you all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And then throughout my whole life and the whole process, they've just guided me, and I've looked up to them the whole way. And so to be able to tell them, that was one of my biggest goals, being able to call my dad and my uncle and tell them I did it, got on scholarship. It was really great for them, and I was happy for them because they've helped me so much throughout the way.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, you took a little bit of an interesting path, not the typical one. You grew up in Buffalo, chose to go to Fork Union Academy for that prep school year. That had to feel like it paid off, and it got you the opportunity here in Charlotte.
Absolutely. Going to Fork Union was definitely tough because it being a military school, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I had a good few months there, and we worked hard, and it got me to Charlotte, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else because I love it here.
Yeah, and there's some pretty good players that have rolled through there now, some NFL players. I got to be teammates with one of them for a long time, Eddie George, who went through there. So I know it's a quality place, and I'm glad it got you to Charlotte. And obviously now, how's it feel being here? You're talking about how your family's moved from Buffalo. Now they're in Florida. You're kind of sick of the snow. Your parents are sick of the snow. Yep. What's it like being here as a North Carolinian now?
I love it here. I think down south, the number one thing is the weather. Can't beat the weather. I only saw one day of snow this year, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I was over the snow, and then my sister's down here with me now too, which is awesome because she wasn't going to think about going to Florida, but she decided to come here. She landed a job, and my parents get to come see us on game days, so it's great having her here as family, and I just love it here so much.
Well, I know that there's a big game coming up against FIU, but then that next one on the schedule is pretty special because your uncle played at Marshall, and Marshall's rolling into Charlotte in 2 weeks.
Yes, sir. It's always a little in-family rivalry, him getting drafted out of Marshall to the Buffalo Bills. So it's cool, especially 2 years ago when we went or last year when we went there and beat them, which is awesome. I got to brag at him a little bit, but I know he'll be cheering for us this season.
Tommy, thanks so much for taking some time today and joining us, and congratulations again on getting on full scholarship, and good luck this week down there at Miami.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thanks
Tommy Doctor's been our guest, defensive lineman out of Buffalo, now of course makes home in Charlotte, and parents down in Naples, Florida. We'll come back and have more in a moment on Gold Mine Live. This is the Charlotte IMG Sports Network.
Okay, it's time to belly up to the bar because it's the last call to save big on 2017 Ford F-Series. Cash in on the truck that hauls the most and has more efficiency at the pump with an EcoBoost engine and a high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy body. Time to get in on America's best-selling trucks 40 years running. Because you snooze, you lose, pal.
Get $10,837 total savings on a 2017 F-150, plus first responders get an additional $1,000 at your Carolina Ford dealer.
Sophie, his 13th birthday. Gift, we've got you. Guitar, coming tomorrow. Road game today, surprise party tomorrow. Change of plans. Game tomorrow.
No, birthday tomorrow.
Hotel, hotel.
Guitar, reroute.
Birthdays are on birthdays.
Party, relocate. UPS My Choice makes rerouting packages easy. how we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Sophie.
The Student Athlete of the Week, sponsored by Ortho Carolina, the official team physician of your Charlotte 49ers. This week's Ortho Carolina Student Athlete of the Week is Tyreek Harris. Harris is a redshirt sophomore linebacker on the football team from Roanoke, Virginia. Harris boasts a 3.6 GPA and was named to the Conference USA All-Freshman team last season after starting in 8 games and recording 46 tackles and 3 tackles for loss. Now, in just his second season as a starter for the 49ers, he is a vocal leader both on and off the field. Away from the field, Harris is a biology major and a member of the English Honor Society. Tyreek Harris, the Ortho Carolina Student Athlete of the Week. This has been the Ortho Carolina Student Athlete of the Week, brought to you by Ortho Carolina, the official team physician of your Charlotte 49ers.
Here in the Student Union at Norms this week, and we've got a special guest once again, and this segment is going to be Coach Brad Quinn. He's a GA Defensive Quality Control Coach for the 49ers this season. And Coach, thanks for joining us. And first of all, tell us a bit about what your job entails.
So what I usually have to do week to week is, the first thing is I look at kind of what we're doing during the game as far as what we're calling defensively, what kind of any tendencies that we've developed over the last, 4 games, since we're 4 games in. Look at, how we're calling stuff on first, second, and third downs, making sure we're not tipping anything away with our guys and where we're putting guys and how we're moving guys. So that's kind of the big segment of what I have to do each week in, week out. And then just kind of assist the other 2 graduate assistants in film breakdown as far as making sure we got everything called the right way that we need it and how we call all of our stuff, make sure our film's correct, and make sure everybody's ready to go. Just anything that gets our guys ready to go for the game on Saturday. And
with the D-line working really close with Coach Lambert.
Yeah, and so been able to be in there with Coach Lambert and help him out wherever he needs fit. Being a head coach, he gets pulled in a lot of different directions, and just try to help him wherever he needs, film, scouting reports, anything like that. I can get together for him. That's what I get to do, and help him out any way I can.
Talk about your path to Charlotte. I think Coach Hood had a lot to play into you coming here.
Yeah, so I was with Coach Hood for 4 seasons at Eastern Kentucky University, 2 years as a grad assistant there. 3rd year was assistant offensive line, and 4th year was director of player development. And so was still there whenever Coach Hood moved down here. He called me up and said, hey, we may have a GA spot open, working on the offensive side of the ball. And so I said, yeah, let's do it. So moved the wife down here to Charlotte, and always been through Charlotte, never really been to Charlotte, flying in and out of Douglas. Beautiful town, beautiful campus, and great people. So that's how I ended up here, and then just Coach Lambert moved me to the defensive side of the ball this past season. So it's been, which is where I played at. I've coached on offensive side for the last 4 years, but then moved to the defensive side of the ball now, kind of back home, back in my roots, and get my feet back under me. So it's been really, really good.
Well, I know it's been good for you to get back on the defensive side. And first, I thank you for all the hours you put in, because you're like double duty. You're doing all this GA work, then you're also having to coach. You do a ton of stuff with that defensive line on the field. And those guys, after losing some good seniors last year, they've come on strong. They're really doing well this season. But just tell us about that room, some of the guys that have stepped up for you.
Yeah, it's been great with those kids in there, man. Losing, Larry and Banks, 2 key pieces of our defense last year, and having these younger guys come in. Tommy, you just had on, has been playing really good for us, and moving him to a full scholarship has been awesome, just to see him respond to that and just kind of take it on as, that's what he wanted, and that's where he got himself to, and then pushing past that has been great. Zach Duncan, kind of a guy who played a lot last year too for us, coming in and keeping that room going, and then Tyler Fain anchoring him down in the middle there, and doing a nice job coming in there, and having some big shoes to fill for Larry, and he's holding his own and doing pretty well for us. So it's been really cool. And then the other one that's been really nice to see is Timmy Horn. Just his overall attitude, his demeanor, just how he approaches everything with us has been really great. just, you know, his performance on the field's been pretty good too. So.
Well, tell us about some of the, you know, you worked with the offensive line a bunch, and now you're on the defensive line. You know, what are some of the things that you probably expected from a defensive lineman, but being in that room, seeing those guys and interacting with their personalities, maybe some stuff they're like, this is a different breed altogether.
It really is. They're both, you know, up front guys, and you coach them different ways. And just coming in that room, I didn't really know a whole lot of those kids just because I wasn't around them a whole lot. See them in practice when we go one-on-ones. But getting in there and getting to know their personalities and just how they've kind of come into their own with those guys graduating and those guys elevating up. It's been really neat to be a part of and see them interact with each other and just kind of how goofy they are a little bit and how much fun they like to have. And so that's been really good for me just to be able to be around that and see that and be able to work with those guys and Coach Lambert and help them out.
Well, you mentioned that you know, you got down here for Charlotte. Your wife came with you, and just last year you welcomed a baby into the fold. What's that been like? I'm sure a whole other issue. I mean, like challenges.
It really has. It's been an interesting. She'll be 5 months old in 2 days. So she came April 27th, and so it's been awesome being a father. There's nothing like it. There's nothing you can prepare yourself enough for to be that. But then also to grow into camp, or your summer camps you have going on with a 2-month-old, and then going into fall camp with a 3 and 4 month old. Yeah, it's been there are a lot of sleepless nights and being able to just kind of learn it all. So it's been a lot of fun though.
All right, just a quick question: what's harder to kind of keep up with, a 5-month-old baby or a defensive lineman?
Well, I would have to say the 5-month-old and the dishes. No one prepared me for the amount of dishes you have to do with a baby.
Bottles, those little bottles, yeah, and they got to be clean.
My hands are so big. You gotta, that's like what I struggle with the most is the dishes.
Oh,
that's been it.
I know you got to help out too. You're not off when you get home. You're still on.
No, exactly. You got to roll right into it and get her ready for bed and get the bottles ready for the next day and get all the clothes out and laundry done. Yeah, but I couldn't do it without my wife, Clarinda. She's been awesome and a great mother, and just being a football coach, you don't get to spend a whole lot of time at home right now, and having that mom at home that can take on a lot of that's been I've been really blessed with that. So.
Well, Brad, thanks so much, and we're really happy to have you here in Charlotte.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a great rest of the season.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Assistant Coach Brad Quinn, GM, the defensive side of the ball. We'll come back to Coach Lambert as we continue on with Gold Mine Live on the Charlotte IMG Sports Network.
Okay, it's time to belly up to the bar because it's the last call to save big on 2017 Ford F-Series. Cash in on the truck that hauls the most and has more efficiency at the pump with an EcoBoost engine and a high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy body. Time to get in on America's best-selling trucks 40 years running. Because you snooze, you lose, pal.
Get $10,837 total savings on a 2017 F-150, plus first responders get an additional $1,000 at your Carolina Ford dealer.
Sophie, his 13th birthday. Gift, we've got you. Guitar, coming tomorrow. Road game today, surprise party tomorrow. Change of plans. Game tomorrow.
No, birthday tomorrow.
Hotel.
Guitar, reroute.
Birthdays are on birthdays.
Party, relocate. UPS My Choice makes rerouting packages easy. How we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Sophie.
Welcome back to Gold Mine Live, everybody. We're joined once again by head coach Brad Lambert. And, Coach, first of all, we had a chance to talk to Tommy Doctor, who you were really happy to give a scholarship to this year, and what he's meant to this team. And then Coach Quinn, who works with you all the time, hand in hand every day, does a great job.
Yeah, that's two good guys right there. Doc's, just come in and he just kept his nose down and worked extremely hard and is playing pretty good right now. And so I just felt like he had earned that opportunity and, got the scholarship, and he actually wore 49 for us one week and, moved in the starting role. So he's put himself in a good position. Those are easy ones to reward. They're like basically you can go out and find a junior college player, you can reward a guy on your team that's playing extremely well, and he deserved it. And so we're glad he's here right now. I promise you that, because he can play a couple different spots for us. He's starting for us at the 3 technique at the tackle position, but in the first half we thought we lost Zach Duncan the other night. He ended up being okay, but there's a point like he can play the 5 technique for us as well. So he kind of is my swing guy. And then Coach Quinn, you know, he's been great since he's been here. Got to know him through Coach Hood, who was with us last year, and we brought Queenie in and you know, kind of been moving him around a little bit. Spent a year with our offensive line, and then moved him over to the D-line this year when I took that crowd over. I just wanted him to be, he kind of handles all my stuff video-wise during the day. And then I've got Weston Smith, who played for us. He's our GA, so he kind of helps me on the field. And so we utilize both those guys. But Queenie's done a really nice job for us. Heck of a good guy, and is going to be a really good football coach.
Another guy who wore number 49 for you this past week was Arthur Hart. Boy, what a big season he's having, and he has saved us in a lot of situations this year. Yeah, he really turned the field over for us. You know, he's been really consistent this year, and that's been the thing that Charlie's really been talking to him about. Is he's always had that leg, and he has the ability to punt like that, but he's averaging right at 44 yards a punt. I think our net's 40, which is phenomenal. He got run into the other night. You know, it always gets into that. Is it running into roughing? You know that guy's in a vulnerable spot, and I just think that they need to throw the roughing a little bit more. You know, because the guy's in a tough spot. You know, you're exposed, and you know, guy can really get hurt that's in that spot. And he didn't hit a very good kick. Of course, they ran into him, so I punted it again, and he really turned the field over for us. It's those are huge plays in a game where a guy can flip the field, and he has the ability to do that. He's been doing and executing our roll punt when we do that. When we ask him to do those things, he's now our full-time holder, you know, on our field going extra points. So he's doing a good job with that. Just been really proud of Arthur and all that he's doing right now. Everybody knows his backstory by now, but looking forward, we talked to him a couple of weeks ago, and one of his goals is to play on Sundays, to play in the NFL. And he's got that kind of leg, doesn't he? He does. And there's been all the NFL guys that come through, they want to know about Arthur, and I think they're looking just like everybody is. You know, is he going to be a consistent guy, because he has the ability, but as we all aware, you know, there's 32 of those jobs in the NFL, and you better be able to do it pretty much every time out. That's, you know, what's required. And that's one of the things that always amazes me when I go to a Panthers game is the punters. I mean, you stood on that field a lot, Kevin, but those guys are, I mean, it's phenomenal how they punt the ball. I mean, it's an amazing thing to watch. You know, they're the best in the world at what they do, and it's and Arthur's got that ability, but he's got to really maintain what he's doing, you know, 1 week at a time here, and I think he may have an opportunity. Yeah, the consistency at that level at so many different positions, but, you know, punting, kicking, think of, you know, we had John Casey with the Panthers all those years, but the Vinatieri's of the world, or Gostkowski's, that they don't miss, and it's amazing. Yeah, they're the best in the world at what they do, and there's a reason they're there, and, you know, I mean, it's an art, and they're good at it and consistent at it, and I think that's the biggest thing for Arthur, and he's done that through 4 games. He's been really consistent for us, and we've asked him to do a lot, you know, because we played some really good punt returners, and so we've had to really, you know, sometimes be creative in punting the ball. When we were at Kansas State, I mean, we were like, whew, we did not, I wanted him to punt it out of bounds, you know.
Well, he's got such a big leg. Is messing around with kickoffs ever in his thing? Is that in his wheelhouse?
I don't want to mess him up. You know, I don't want to mess him up right now. He's, you know, we've done fairly well on kickoffs. I've been a little disappointed in our field goal. Now they've all been pretty far. You know, I've asked him to kick some long field goals, but, you know, Nigel's done a pretty good job with our kickoff. But I just want him to kind of stay in that world he's in right now. He's doing well, and let's get him doing that good. Wanted to touch on a player that is no longer with us, but since our last show has certainly made a splash. That's Austin Duke. We had him in the booth again this week, and now a Carolina Panther on the practice squad. Yeah, really proud of him. He's, you know, another guy that look at over time's worked extremely hard. I mean, I think back to 2012 when he got here, and then we played the 13th season and had a lot of drops in that season, and just really put his head down and went to work. And he was a testament. He's always had the ability to run extremely fast, and so I know when I talk to him all the time about his opportunity at the next level, I was like, you know, you're not real big, but you're extremely fast. So what you've got to do is be really consistent at catching the ball. Like they got to know they can count on you. And I think he's worked so hard at that. It's really given him an opportunity because he has the ability to get out on the field and do some good things. And, you know, he's just made himself into a really good catcher of the ball. And it's just a lot of fun to see those guys. They work hard and, you know, have goals, and to see him attain them. It's been good to see him. He's been, you know, back to the games and out at practice. So all those guys have. Matt Johnson's been out there. It was good to see, you know, Bolus and Bumgardner, all those guys that were there Saturday, Muscarella, those guys, to have them come back now, it's pretty cool. And you know, they're coming and tailgating and having a big time. So I know Kevin gets worn out with it because he has to deal with them all.
I love having them there. I love having Austin Duke in the building, and it's great to have him around. It's been a tough month with getting cut first, having to work out for a few weeks, then getting back on the practice squad. But what a great example. It shows the guys on this team. Look, that's our all-time leading receiver, and he wasn't a shoe-in for the NFL. Actually gets cut, but keeps working his tail off. He's right there at the facility and on the turf working his tail off, and gets that next opportunity. And that's what these guys got to see. It's tough if you want to make it.
It is. It takes a lot of work. You have to have some talent, but it takes a lot of work. That's the thing that always amazed me about, you know, when you have great players, whether it's Larry, Austin, whoever, you know, Will Witherspoon, who played for the Panthers. I mean, in the past, you know, these guys, they have a great work ethic. I mean, their work ethic is off the chart. They're very talented at what they do, but those guys have to work hard year in and year out. You know, I always never forget the story. When I was playing, I worked out in the summer, and we had a guy named Paul Kaufman, played for the Green Bay Packers for a long time, and he played at Kansas State. And those guys, he and Gary Spaney, would come back every year and work out. And we're sitting there one day in the summer, and it's, you know, 100 degrees out there, and I'll never forget Paul Kaufman saying, you know what, guys, we don't have to run these quarters today. But he said, there's going to be some rookie in camp trying to get my job, so let's go run these things. You know, I mean, that's just the attitude you have to have. It's a profession, and if you want to keep your job, you got to work.
That's so true. We'll take our last time out. Got a few minutes of the show left. We'll talk a little bit about FIU coming up next. We'll repeat a little bit of that for the folks that haven't been with us at the beginning of the show, but we'll get you up to date on the next opponent, which is FIU this Saturday down in Miami. This is Gold Mine Live on the Charlotte IMG Sports Network.
Okay, it's time to belly up to the bar because it's the last call to save big on 2017 Ford F-Series. Cash in on the truck that hauls the most and has more efficiency at the pump with an EcoBoost engine and a high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy body. Time to get in on America's best-selling trucks 40 years running. Because you snooze, you lose, pal.
Get $10,837 total savings on a 2017 F-150, plus first responders get an additional $1,000 at your Carolina Ford dealer.
Sophie, his 13th birthday. Gift? We've got you. Guitar? Coming tomorrow. Road game today? Surprise party tomorrow. Change of plans. Game tomorrow.
No, birthday tomorrow.
Hotel, hotel.
Guitar? Reroute.
Birthdays are on birthdays.
Party? Relocate. UPS My Choice makes rerouting packages easy.
Wow.
How we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Sophie.
Welcome back to Gold Mine Live with Brad Lambert and Kevin Donnelly on that. We'll have 2 more minutes left to show as we wrap up what has been week 4 heading to week 5 now. The Niners taking on the Panthers of FIU, second week in a row. They play a team named the Panthers, and we'll see what happens going down to Miami this week against an FIU team. We talked about it earlier, but a team that is led by a very, very good defense. Some guys on that defensive side that could play on Sundays as well.
Yeah, no question. A lot of old guys, you know, Anthony Went, Trayvon Williams, guys that have just played a lot of football. And I think Anthony Wentz, you know, I've seen a lot of good linebackers over the years, and I think he's as good as there is. A little bit undersized, but he's a tackling machine now. He knows how to get to the ball, and he's pretty violent when he gets there. Trayvon's the same way. You know, he's kind of the picture of what blow delivery is for a linebacker, because when he hits you, now you're going the other direction. So, and then you throw in the guys up front with some juniors, a senior. You know, they're very active up front. They're going to get after you, disrupt you, and you're going to have to block them. Got a couple seniors in the back end at safety, which is always comforting as a coach. You got old guys, you know, at all levels. So they're going to present a lot of problems for us. But we had the game. You know, we had some success against them last year here, and I thought we had the game under control, up 13 with, you know, about 7 minutes in the game. So our guys will show up and play hard.
When you look at them this year compared to last year, new head coach and Coach Davis, have you noticed any differences in philosophy from the last two teams?
You know, not really. They're probably a little more run-oriented offensively. They want to establish the run game. You know, they threw the ball a bit more last year probably, but it's pretty similar really. They're so active and athletic defensively, everything kind of starts from that. And then you throw in the quarterback who's a senior, the tailback who's a senior. I think if they feel like they can get the ball moving, running the ball, they can really get you off balance. And so that'll be the challenge for us is, you know, keeping the running back under control and trying to, you know, control the line of scrimmage from our defensive front standpoint. I think is a, you know, big challenge. And we've done fairly well at that, you know, through 4 games up front defensively. I've been proud of the guys. So hopefully we can do that again this week.
What do you expect going in offensively, how you could be successful against that pretty good defense?
Well, we're going to have to be creative in the way we run it. We're going to try to get the ball, you know, down the field a little bit. We got to take some shots, you know, and we got to put Hassan in some favorable situations. You know, you can't be in 3rd and long all day, and so we got to, you know, we got to have the ability to run the ball just like always, and so we've got to find ways to get the ball, you know, whether it's on the perimeter, then inside. You know, you've got to try to get them off balance a little bit and use Hassan in the running game, no question. You got to use his ability to run the ball. It's always a dicey thing because you don't want him running it too much. You know, you don't want to get him beat up, but you do have to use his ability in the open field to you know, get the ball moving.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because you had some success in the opener against Eastern Michigan, but that's one thing you say, you don't want to get them beat up and hear the music, so we're about done, but that was a good point you made.
Yeah, no question. We got to use his ability to run the ball, and you know, we're trying to protect him somewhat.
Coach, thanks so much. Good luck this week.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Matt.
That's head coach Brad Lambert, Kevin Donnelly. I'm Man Squad. We'll see you on Saturday, 7 o'clock kick. That means our half of the 2-hour pregame starts at 6 o'clock on the Charlotte IMG Sports Network. Until then, so long, everybody.